Good morning. It's Friday.
It is. How's your Friday been so far?
It's been good. It's been good so far. But I was thinking about sometimes I have to give exercise to people to do.
Huh?
Sometimes I have to give exercises to people to do work. I need them to do stuff to help them maintain their adjustment. Do you know what I give to lazy people?
What?
Diddly squats.
What's that?
Diddly squat.
I don't know what a diddly squat is.
Oh, you're not up to par on the slang. Diddly squat is nothing. Diddly squats. Diddly squats.
Interesting.
Yeah. You know I used to work in a bank, right?
Uh-huh.
Got fired
Wow.
because the lady asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her.
I don't like these dad jokes.
You don't like dad jokes? That's too bad, because I got a whole pile of dad jokes in my database. What'd you dream about?
I dreamt about going to a friend's birthday party.
Are you going to your friend's birthday party?
No.
No? Okay.
But it was this big rave.
Speak up.
It was this big rave, you know, in some like opening somewhere. And then I remember I was just walking through with a friend. Actually, not a friend, just somebody that I barely know. And he looked at me, he's like, "Yo, you want to go crowd surfing?" He's like, and I was like, "Bro, there's like 30 people. I can't really do crowd surfing." And yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. I would love to do. I need to start keeping a journal of my dreams so I remember them. And I'd love to do like a dream analysis thing to understand what they mean. But crowd surfing, that reminds me. My first time ever crowd surfing was during Frosh Week at Dalhousie. It was at an outdoor concert. And I think the musician at the time was Ashley McIsaac. He was basically like a hard rock fiddler. If that makes sense.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, he would wear a kilt and docks, and he'd be like jamming it out on stage.
It's a bit odd.
Yeah, it's a bit hardcore with fiddle.
Did he just play the fiddle?
Yeah, I mean he had a band, I think. Something smells. I think it's probably the construction, I hope.
Is your window fixed?
No, well, I'm taking the car in on January 8th. So anyways, I'm crowd surfing, and I remember I almost fell, and I was somersaulting on towards the ground, and I got caught by a few guys, and literally I heard a guy screaming yelling out, "Catch him, he's gonna fall." And I just thought, Nova Scotians are so nice. Because in Ontario,
nobody would have cared.
Ontario, they would have just let you drop. And then
Natural selection,
I remember my longest surf ever. It was at, who was playing? It was the Mahones and the Skydiggers. You would have heard some of their songs, but they basically were popular on the college scene. And yeah, so I got up. It was a concert, big stage. Well, big for a university campus anyway. And when I got up, I surfed all the way to one side, like basically one whole length, and then halfway, 3/4 back the other way. It was crazy. It was up there forever.
How long do you think?
I don't know, 7-8 minutes.
Really?
I'm thinking, because you're not moving too quick, eh?
Yeah.
Now it could have been 5 or 6 minutes, but it felt like a long time. It was really cool. I met a friend on top of the crowd too.
He was also being surfed. He was also surfing.
There was another surfer up there, yes.
Nice. Did you guys meet in the waves?
Met in the wave.
Really? other concert stories do you have for me?
Concert stories. Well, I mentioned yesterday about Massey Hall and Tragically Hip.
Mm-hmm. How
Remember
many times
this?
did you see them?
The Tragically Hip, I saw them 3 times. They're all in Toronto. I saw the Steve Miller Band. That was a good concert. Really good concert. That was actually at Canada's Wonderland.
I feel like I know Steve.
Yeah, you do. The Joker is probably a song that you know for sure. I would have played it for you. I've played it for you probably on the guitar a whole bunch. I've probably played it on the radio a couple times too. I did a lot of... I've probably seen Great Big Sea like 11, 12 times. At least. They're a fun band to see. No, I saw them mostly in Halifax. I've seen them a couple times out in Calgary. Actually, the last time I saw them, they played together with Blue Rodeo at Canada Olympic Park. So it was the ski hill in Calgary. And it was really cool because the stage was right at the bottom of the hill, and then everybody was just on the hill dancing and stuff.
Really? That's so cool.
And that was your mother and I were there with some friends, Jared and Christine. And I think it was around 12, around midnight or so, and Jared says, "Hey, do you want to run a 10K tomorrow?" I said, "Sure, why not? Let's do it." And I mean, I don't run 10Ks, right? I was a 400-meter runner. But anyway, who cares? We're just going to go run a 10K. So he's like, "Yeah, it's in Raymond." Raymond's this little town, 2.5 hours south of Calgary. I went there once before to brand cows.
Branded cows?
Yeah, we're castrating calves,
When the
and
hell
castrating and then branding.
Brand cows.
Yeah, it was actually just part of like a youth activity. You know, I was one of the leaders for this youth. And yeah, that was an activity because you're in southern Alberta. And that's what you do.
What did you brand them with?
A branding iron.
Yeah, but what? What was it?
So what we'd do is, you had all the calves in the pen and stuff, and you'd have to like run them down the chute. So what you do is you grab them by the tail, and you kind of pull backwards a little bit on the tail and down. Now, if you pull this way, they go that way. If you pull this way, they go that way. So, and then you have to pull down a little bit so they don't kick you. I did get kicked in the gut once. And then you run them, so then you basically just run them down the chute, and then get to the end, and it's like they put this thing together where it was almost like 2 sides of a fence, where they just clamp the guy, stick him on the side. All the cows got branded. If they were the boys, they got their balls chopped off too. So they put them on the side. You jab them with the needle. So you give them their whatever they were doing. I don't know. Maybe it was vaccines or something. I don't know what we were shooting them with. And then somebody else who was skilled took out the testicles. And then I think we were branding as well.
Did they
like I think that. No. It was just like get her done.
Balls off?
Yeah, just get her done. I don't remember that part. I remember we gave them a needle. I don't remember if the needle was an anesthetic. I don't know if it was a vaccine. I don't know what it was. And then we would brand them too. So you had a branding iron, and it smelled pretty bad.
Poor cows.
Yeah. And then you let them go off to moms. And
did it make you feel powerful?
no.
Did you feel good about it afterwards? Did you go home and eat a nice steak?
Yeah, I had steak. Steak
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. It's just do what needs to be done, kind of thing. Listen.
Did you know that apparently some vegans don't eat mushrooms?
Really? What's their idea behind that?
Because they don't consider them to be a plant. They think they're animals.
Really? Well, they're fungi.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to eat a fungi.
Yeah.
Yeah. If your name was Gus, you'd be Fun Gus. So anyways, that was the first time I went to Raymond, and so the second time was this race. And see, yeah, we go on tangents there. We could have just kept on going off on mushrooms and stuff, and we were talking about concerts.
Yeah, that's true.
So we were at the concert, and we said, "All right, let's go.
It's like
Let's
have
go."
conversations.
So we go to Raymond. No, we went to Lethbridge because it's about 2 hours, and we got a hotel. And then the idea was, Jared and I would just get up in the morning and take off, go to the race, and come back and pick up the girls later. And So we got up. We were leaving at about 7 or something. So I think the race started at 7:30. And just as we're about to leave, like getting into the car, the girls stick their head out the window and said, "Hey, we're coming too." So it's like, oh crap. So we had to wait like a few more minutes for them to get their stuff together. And so they hop in the car, but that made us late, right? So we got to the race and we pulled up just as the gun goes.
Okay.
And so everybody takes off. But then we're told, well, we have to register. So we had to run 2 blocks the other way, register for the race, and then go run the race. Now, Raymond's a small town, so the race is basically you run out of town, around the town, and then back in again. And so on our way out of town, we got stuck with the train. But you don't understand trains, because trains here, it's if you get a long train, you're waiting for a minute. Normally the passenger ones, it's just, you know, there's only 3 cars kind of thing. This thing, you're sitting there and you're waiting for, like, when the engine goes by to the last one, it could be a good 5 minutes at least, because they're so long. And then we ran the race, and we passed a lot of people. And I don't know what place we came in, and went in and we had a pancake breakfast. Had a big pancake breakfast for everybody afterwards.
Nice.
So that was my last Great Big Sea concert
But
with
they
Blue
didn't-
Rodeo.
The ladies didn't run the race, did they?
No, they just we did those afterwards. And I've seen Blue Rodeo probably about 8-9 times. Big Sugar, I saw them a lot. Probably also about 11, 12, 13 times. Because they played a lot of Great Big Sea and Big Sugar were just kind of starting out, eh? Like so they really were playing the college campuses a lot. I remember seeing Great Big Sugar at the Greywood. Big Sugar at the Greywood, which was the campus pub in Dalhousie. And that was the first time I saw Gordie Johnson play the guitar with his teeth.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Their harp
Didn't
guy.
Jimi Hendrix do that?
I don't know, probably.
That's just kind of unnecessary to me. But like, rock
Seemed
and
pretty
roll.
cool at the time.
Rock and roll, you
Seemed
know?
pretty cool at the time. So those are most of my concerts. Skydiggers, Great Big Sea, Big Sugar. Steve Miller once. Hip a few times. Yeah. Oh, the Highland Heights. I saw them a few times. They were a band from Cape Breton. I saw them, the last time I saw them was at the lower deck in Halifax. The ceilings are like this high. Lower deck. Well, maybe a little bit higher, not much. You felt like you went under, like, you felt like you're under a ship kind of thing. You were, you know, below deck. Lower deck, yeah, without it. So,
What was I gonna say? Hey, you know the Smashing Pumpkins are coming to Luxembourg.
oh, really? You gonna go?
Maybe. I don't know. I have to check if the tickets are still there. But yeah, Smashing Pumpkins. I think maybe the Pixies as well. I'm not sure. But I know there's another band as well. But yeah. So I want to go to concerts. You know, it kind of motivates me when I see people doing what I want to do.
I think you should a lot, actually. But not bands like that. I mean, you can go see them for fun, but you should go see ones that are a little bit more sit down and watch, as opposed to stand up and dance around. The reason being is so you can sit there and really learn and appreciate the skill. I mean, they've all got massive skill, right? It's just, it's different when you've got a whole crowd who are dancing around and jumping around and stuff. It's hard to sit there and appreciate the skill that's going into everything. But, you know, some of these sit ones now, like there's one at the Rock Hall. I see it advertised right now. A guy, it's a blues band coming in the spring. If I see it again, I'll forward it to you. Because those can be pretty interesting, because then you really appreciate the skill a lot more. But I remember also too taking, when I went to treat Megadeth one time at the Rock Hall, that you, Luke, and Oscar came.
Yeah.
And we had a big chat afterwards about it because although they're a heavy metal band, we were all backstage, right? I'm not sure if you remember that. We were backstage because I was treating the band, and the guys who were not getting treated, you could hear them in the other room. They were singing scales, playing scales, and it was all working on the fundamentals and working on the basics. And I was amazed at that. I wasn't amazed so much that people would warm up and practice and do things like that, but I didn't really associate with a heavy metal band singing scales and playing scales.
Those guys are like really skilled.
Oh yeah, they are very skilled. They just, I guess at some point, it's a preconception that I had that maybe there's not as much skill that goes into it, and that's maybe because I'm not a big fan of heavy metal. But then listening to them, it was completely different. It completely opened my mind up. I still don't like heavy metal, but it gave me a much better appreciation to the skill that goes into it.
Yeah.
And also, they were so nice, eh? Like, again...
Tell that story of treating Megadeth.
Okay, well, I did it a bunch of times, actually. But this time in particular, we went, and, it was kind of...
I remember you got the call. Me, you, and
oh yeah, we were at home.
No, we weren't at home. We were in the car on the way home, and you got the call. It was like you didn't know who it was. You're like, "Hello, Scott Oliver," and then you heard it was like Megadeth's secretary or something. So you freaking pulled over.
No. It wasn't secretary. It was always it was always Dave. What's Dave's last name? It was the bass player. I think it was the bass player, Dave. There's two Daves in the band. And so it's one of the guys in the band who always called me.
Oh, really?
Because that has always impressed me, because he could have had somebody else call, but he always called me himself. Always, because he came. I saw them I want to say 4 or 5 times, for like every spring, like each year. But the one time, so you might have been with me for that call, but I remember the time when I took you and Oscar and Luke. I remember we were at home because your mom was gone. She was in Israel with Lewis because he had a business trip there. So she just went along to go see stuff. And Ornella happened to be at our house. And so then I got the call, and I asked Ornella if she could stay with you guys while I went. Or to stay with the girls, because then I would take you and Luke, and Oscar was at the house at the time too. So that's why I took you guys, and then Ornella stayed home with the girls. And so then I think I posted up the pictures on Facebook, and that's how Mom found out about it. Was she saw pictures of us at a concert with Megadeth.
She wasn't mad about it, was she?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't remember. Even if she was, it didn't matter, because it was like, it was so cool. So anyways, we went down to the Rock Hall, and we got to the gate and buzzed in and everything, and the security guy had to check with the band that we were there for them and everything. So I went up and set up the table, and they were all drinking water.
Treating them. He's a chiropractor.
I'm a chiropractor.
He was cracking them before a show too. And relieve tension.
So yeah, it's like their kids are running around, and I think like their wives or girlfriends were there, and it was really, really more like it was a family atmosphere. And again, it was just like, wow, because this is a heavy metal band. I would have thought at the time, there probably would have been smoke, there would have been drinking and all that kind of stuff, and no, they were just very, very nice, very articulate, well-spoken, very polite people. It was really neat. And and then they, I think, I don't remember if you guys went off and watched them warm up a little bit or not. But then when we were finished, they gave you guys some shirts and some picks and I think wristbands or whatever, so they gave you a bit of merch.
Yeah.
And then we went and we watched the show for a little while. So we went down onto the floor, and I mean, we started out kind of backstage, but we couldn't really see very well, so we went actually out onto the floor, and watched them play. And I think the same night, I think actually the Smashing Pumpkins were playing in a different hall that night, because I remember coming out and hearing the other music. It was something like Smashing Pumpkins. It might not have been them. It might have been somebody else.
Cool.
So yeah.
What about your Marilyn Manson story?
Marilyn Manson, yes.
Ah.
So this would be somebody called me up.
This guy's the rock dog.
Yeah. Somebody called me up, this lady. I don't know if she was from the Rock Hall or if she was from the hotel or if she was part of the organizing crew of the band. I don't really know who she was. And she asked, he was at the Novotel right over there. And so she asked if I could come treat him because
At the hotel?
I think it was at the hotel, yes. And she said that he wanted to get treated by me, and he also he wanted to be treated by a chiropractor. He doesn't know me, and he also wanted a massage. And I'm like, well, I can come treat him, no problem. I'm not doing no massage though. And she's like, no, that's fine. I need a massage therapist, but I need a female massage therapist. And I'm just thinking, whatever, fine. And now at the time I had two massage therapists working for me. There was Gia and Vesa. Right, but Gia was away on maternity leave. So there's only Vesa, right? And I'm like, well, you go ahead and find any massage therapist you want in the country. That's fine. Do you want me to ask the guy that I've got here if he can make it, just in case you can't find who you're looking for? And she's like, yeah, go ahead, no problem. And she said, oh, and how much do you charge? And I said something like 850 or 950. It was something like that. Like it was charging close to 1,000. And she's like, isn't that a bit much? And I'm like, well, it's a lot of time, right? I mean, when you think about it, it actually wasn't that bad of a price, right? Because at the time I would have been making maybe roughly, I don't know, maybe about 260 or so euros an hour.
Wow.
So when you think about the time that it takes to get over there, set up your table, you can't just treat the person right away if you've not seen them before. You got to also do a bit of an analysis. You got to do a little bit of a case history, right? Like, somebody's got surgeries in them somewhere. You don't want to be pushing on a pin or a screw, right? So you have to chat a little bit before you get started. You can't just go. I mean, I do with regular patients, but on the first time, and then you have to get back home again, right? So it is time. I mean, that would have taken me 3 hours or so. So at the time I was actually thinking I was overcharging a lot, but then afterwards I thought about it. I was like, well, no, not really. I mean, overcharge a bit, but not much. And but anyways, so I told her that, and she's like, okay, well that makes sense. And then she calls back a little bit later, and she says, yeah, okay, we'll have you come adjust him. And at that point, she said that she had not yet found a massage therapist. And I said, well, if you want, the massage therapist I had, he said that he could do it. And she's like, okay, thanks. I'll keep looking and whatever. We set up a day and a time. I think it was like the next day, or maybe it was later on that same day. I don't remember. And then she called back a little bit later and said, no, it's all off. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, well, the massage therapist is a guy. It's not a girl. He only wants a girl. And so because of that, he doesn't want to see either one of you. And I was like, you realize that doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Because you can call any massage therapist you want. I only offered this guy because he said he could do it, and it was as a backup if you can't find somebody. And she said, yes, I know it doesn't make any sense at all, in that Marilyn Manson, was the worst person she's ever worked with, as far as logic, rationale, she said he was just very difficult to work with, and she sounded like she didn't really, like the whole situation was stupid to her, and it sounded like there was a lot more stupid things going on. Like she sounded really frustrated with everything. So I didn't end up seeing Marilyn Manson, which is fine.
So what were your feelings after that?
Well, my feelings were first, so originally I was charging a lot because I thought I was charging a lot because I really didn't want to see him. I mean, I don't know much about him, but the little bit that my preconceptions were not very good about him. Now I might be wrong. Maybe he's a really, really nice guy. I don't know, and I'll never find out because I didn't meet him. But I don't know. He didn't seem like somebody I necessarily want to be around. So it's like, if I'm gonna adjust that guy, you better pay me good. So I wasn't bothered by that one. But what I was bothered by, the one that hurt for a long time and probably still hurts a little bit, is one day this lady calls me up from the Rock Hall, and her name was Sandrine, because I still remember this. And she's like, a band's coming in tomorrow to play tomorrow night.
This is heartbreaking story, guys.
And they've asked for a chiropractor to be there at 2:00. Can you be there tomorrow at 2:00? And I was busy. I was with a patient at the time. I didn't have a secretary at the time. And Friday we're going this way, right?
Yeah.
And she didn't. So I wasn't thinking, right? I didn't ask who was it, and she didn't tell me. She didn't offer that. I'm like, so whatever. And I was like, my schedule was full. And I was like, I'm fully busy. I can't make it tomorrow. And I said, but I do have a colleague, and I can, call her and see if she can come. And so I called her up. So I got the Sandrine's number and at the Rock Hall, and so I called up this girl who was working with me at the time. She didn't work for me very long because she was, I don't know, didn't work. She ended up going back to England. But anyways, she was driving back to England the next day. No, not for good, just for like, I don't know, a weekend or something. And so she couldn't make it. So I called Sandrine back at the Rock Hall, and I said, listen, I've got half an hour. I've got time at 12:30. If you want, you can send them by here at 12:30 because I've got half an hour, but I can't make it there for 2. And she's like, okay, I'll use that as a backup scenario, but I really need somebody here for 2. And I was like, all right, good luck. Let me know. And next day, it's, I don't know, like 1:30. No, 12:30. So 12, I don't know what time it was. It's lunchtime. Now here, back in that day, everything shut down between 12 and 2 every day for lunch. Nobody worked. Yeah, everything. The bakery would shut down, which was weird because you'd think people would go to the bakery to get some food for lunch, right? But I kid you not, everything would shut down between 12 and 2.
What year? I didn't know this.
Well, this would have been in it still lasted for a long time.
Did you shut down?
No, I never shut down because pitter patter, you gotta work. And because I'd figure, well, that's when people can come see me, it's at lunchtime, right? So anyways, there's this one guy in to see me. His name was Quentin. I still remember Quentin. I saw him like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, so who's playing the Rock Hall tonight? And he says, Kiss. And I'm like, and then I think my face just went white because he looked at me and he's like, what? Because he knew something was wrong, right? And so I told him, and he's like, you call them back right now. and it's like I was in a daze, right? So he's like, you call them back right now, you tell them you can make it, you cancel the rest of your pages, go. And so I called back, I said, Adrian, but the lines were down. And because
the lines were even down.
Well, there wasn't the lines were down. I went to an answering machine because everybody's on lunch break. So I kept calling and everything. And so then at 2:00 I call back and Sandrine it answers the phone. I'm like, I'm coming. I'll cancel the rest of my day. I'm coming now. And she's like, I already found some guy. It's like some French guy that he drove like an hour and a half to come. And she said, and it's really too bad because they wanted you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They wanted me. And he's like, and she said, well, it's because of your name, you sounded like you were from North America, and they wanted you because I gave them like a few French names, and they wanted somebody that they could really feel they could speak fluently English with, and And so they wanted you. And I'm like, you shouldn't have told me that, because that's like putting a stake in the heart, right? It's like, not only
So
did I
sad.
miss a Justin Kiss, but they wanted me.
They wanted
Not because of me, but because of, you know, and that just hurt forever. Oh, it sucked so bad. You know, picture of me and the boys backstage, tongue sticking out. Oh, that hurt so
Legendary.
bad. And then I remember it wasn't long after that, Cameron used to watch this cartoon called My Dad's a Rock Star. And it was a cartoon produced by Gene Simmons. And so one day I was just feeling, I don't know what I was feeling. So I was feeling confused and dazed and confused. And so I downloaded the greatest hits of Kiss. And I'm listening to it in the car. And Cameron is with me. And he starts singing every freaking lyric to every song that comes on. And Cameron's like 9 or 10 years old. I'm like, Cameron, how the hell do you, well, I didn't say hell, but how the hell do you know all these lyrics? How do you know this band? Yeah. And he's like, I have my ways, Dad. And then I found out afterwards that because he's always watching that this My Dad's Rock Star. And well, actually, I don't know how I still need to, I'm going to ask him when I get home, because they probably didn't play all the songs, but he knew all the songs. Yeah. And so that just hurt. Here's my 10-year-old kid singing Kiss, and I denied Kiss. I said no to treating Kiss. Damn, I wouldn't have charged them $8.50. I probably would have paid to do that.
No, you should do. You should like contact the Rock Hall, and get them to like put your card.
Put me on the list.
So that if they need a chiropractor, they just call you.
Yeah.
But only the big names, you know.
Only the big names, yeah.
Yeah. I'll go with you and play them some of my songs.
That would be good. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I should do that. Hey, you left me a piece of chicken. Thank you. Of course. You have a good day.
You too.
I love you.
Thank you for the ride. Love you too.
I'm taking Bowie to get his stitches out later today.
Woohoo!
What are you doing? You coming home afterwards?
Yeah.
All right. See you later. You'll probably be home before I then, because I got the vet appointment.
Peace.
Love you. Bye.